It's gonna get started. Peace to all my family, watch viewers, and everybody who tuned in. Welcome to another episode of the P-Ave Perspective, where we don't just talk about problems, but we talk about solutions. Thank y'all for tuning in. I'm your host, Mr. O'Neill. And whether you're watching the live stream or whether you're watching the replay of the video that I post on YouTube, I appreciate you tuning in this week and spending this time with me. Tonight's topic, as usual, it might make some people uncomfortable, but that's what you have to do sometimes in order to get to the truth. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. But tonight, we're talking about snitching. And the title of this episode is Street Code, No Snitching. But yeah, we're going in tonight. But before we get started, I want y'all to drop in the chat where you're watching from and hit the share button, because this is a conversation that people need to hear. As always, I try to talk about something that's relevant and really discuss topics that we need to discuss. And let's be clear from the beginning, off the top. I always like to make it clear that the stuff I talk about is not meant to disrespect. It's not meant to step on no toes, but it is what it is. It is what it is. And I'm conscious of the fact that everybody may not agree with my views and opinions, but they are mine. They are mine. And just like anything else, I stand on it. I stand on what I say and I represent it. But this is about examining what we were taught and asking, as always, is it helping us or is it hurting us? Is it helping us or is it hurting us? Now, the one thing I want to do when we talk about these subjects, we have to make sure we are clear about the definition of these subjects. And because I see, especially with this word snitching, the original meaning of snitching, or what I was taught snitch meant, is totally different from what people are using it in, the context people are using it in today. And so first of all, before we do anything, we have to define what snitching is. But most people think that not snitching means don't talk to the police, mind your business, stay solid, keep it 100. But tonight we're going to break down the real meaning of what it means to snitch. Now, originally and still today, the no snitching code came from people involved in illegal activities. And let's just be real. Let's get real for a minute. When we say illegal activities, we mean anything that's against the law. Giving examples. When we say street code or whatever, everybody think about the people that are in the streets. Whether it's the people selling narcotics, whether it's the gangsters, whether it's the boosters, anything that's streetwise. But let me say this. It's not just street code. It's illegal activities. Like I said, illegal activities. So it doesn't just cover those people that's in the streets. It also covers the candy house lady who is running an illegal business from her home. It also covers the hairstylists who do hair and stuff in their house and don't have the proper documentation, don't have the proper permits, don't have the proper business, paperwork that says it's legal for them to do businesses and run businesses. Let's make that clear. It's not just about the street people. It's about anybody that's doing anything illegal. And that's the boosters, that is the, whatever it is. If it's not a legal business, then it is considered illegal activities. So let's break that down. And if you are involved in crime and you get caught and you tell on others to save yourself, that is the prime definition of snitching. Again, if you are involved in crime, if you are doing anything illegal and you get caught and you say, okay, well, I'm going to tell what this person is doing, so if they'll go easy on me, that is the epitome. That is the epitome of snitching. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But let me say this. Let me break this down. There are basically, when it comes to this snitch thing, there are basically two types of people. There are basically two types of people when we look at it from a street perspective, because I was in the street most of my life. So while we have the street people, the people that are doing illegal stuff, we have the people on the other side of the fence. And we, back then, we called those people civilians. Squares, working class people, whatever you want to call them. You know what I'm saying? Those are the people that were not involved in what we had going on. We call them civilians. Now, a lot of times when you have the illegal activities going on, the civilians, a lot of times we cross paths. A lot of times those people cross paths. Meaning, when we were out in the street hustling, when we were in the trap and everything like that, you had civilians who just like hang around that environment because we were kicking it, we were blowing, we were sipping, we were kicking it. So you had a lot of civilians who liked hanging in that street environment. But that does not make them street people. That does not make them, because they aren't doing anything illegal. They aren't doing anything illegal. So they're just squares who like to hang out, both male and female, civilians who like to hang out, where it's live at or where it's happening at. You know what I'm saying? So I had to explain that before we get further into it. But the word snitch was never used to describe civilians. And I see a lot of that going on now. I see a lot of people getting it twisted, and now everybody that talk to the police is snitch. First of all, the police are there to serve and protect the civilians, the tax-paying citizens who, want their neighborhood protected, want their property protected, and, the such. Those are the people that the police are there to protect. Now, in the hood, just like I said, we had a really, the whole snitch thing came from not dealing with the police, period, because we know how the police handled us during that time. We know how the system handled us. But let me say this about true street activities. Think about this. This is one thing that I can't understand today. And I hate to get off topic. But back when we were coming up, you had boosters, you had thieves, you had jackers, you had everything. And before the crack cocaine epidemic, think about it. Think about this. Robberies, as far as black people. Robberies. Why would you rob somebody in the hood that's basically in the same situation you're from? Boosting. Why would you boost in your community when there's nothing really in that community? Most of the crimes, robberies, most of that happen outside of the hood. To keep it real, I'm not going to just identify nobody, but I wouldn't rob my own kind because I know we don't have anything. When I was in the streets, I wouldn't do that because I know we didn't have anything. I wouldn't breaking a house in the community or none of that. You know what I'm saying? Even though I'm not a burglar, but I wouldn't do any of that in the hood because most of the people in the hood don't have anything. So if you're going to do that, you're really going to, know what I'm saying, go somewhere where people have something. Let's just keep it real. Okay, let's get that out of the way. But back to the point. Snitching wasn't meant for the civilians. It was meant for people that were involved in illegal activities. It wasn't meant for the grandmothers. It wasn't meant for the kids. It wasn't meant, for the working class people who stayed away from it. That word does not even apply to civilians. It just doesn't. It was a code amongst criminals. Meaning, if I'm doing something wrong, like I said earlier, if I get caught, I can't tell on you to try to, take the load off my back. I can't throw you under the bus and snitch on you to try to get the heat off me, or get a lighter sentence, or whatever it is that I'm trying to do. Whatever it is that I'm trying to do. So somewhere along the line, we as Black people let that code spread throughout the community to the point where we put everybody in the community under that street code. And that's where the problem started. That's where the real problem started. But be honest in the chat. How many of us grew up hearing, don't talk to the police no matter what? How many of us grew up under that code? Because even I did. Even my parents were like, you don't talk to the police, you don't do that. But the reason why this code took hold in the Black community is because, number one, we had a lack of trust for the system. Dealing with police brutality, dealing with, police and political corruption, and a history of injustice towards Black people. So we got to the point as Black people where we started handling things ourselves. We started handling it ourselves. And there was a rapper not too long ago. It was a while ago. A lot of people might not remember this, but they asked him, he was dealing with somebody in the system, you know what I'm saying? And they asked him if they had a child molester stand next door to him, would he snitch? And he said no. And the white tea people was upset because of what you wouldn't tell if there was a child molester next door. And he said no. He didn't elaborate on it, but most street people, like myself, when I was in the streets, I wouldn't have told it either because I would have handled it myself. I wouldn't have, told it on him. But let me also say this. As criminals, as street people, as people who do illegal stuff to get money, the one thing that the OGs taught me and that I learned and I've always taken to heart and I've always tried to pass on is, at the end of the day, what we do is what we do, but we don't do women and we don't do kids. That was code. That was code. And nowadays, it's totally different. It's totally different. People out here wild and doing what they want to do. But I would say this no matter what. If I was a street guy and you molested somebody on my watch or you harmed somebody on my watch, women, kids, and the such, believe me, as a man, as a street guy that did illegal stuff when I was out there, I would have handled it. I would have handled it. You know what I'm saying? And the people that know me know I would stand firm on that. If you were a child molester and somebody told me you was messing with somebody, some kids, or this, even when I was a kid, I would have handled it. I wouldn't have called the police on it. I would have handled it myself. I don't advise nobody to do that. But I say this. If you're a street dude and you're not going to handle it, it's still your obligation to make sure that our women and our kids are protected, man. That's totally different. That's totally different. Beating up women, abusing kids, none of that goes. None of that is considered, street. None of that is considered street. By no means necessary. Beating your woman or beating women or God knows, taking somebody's life, a woman or a child, that's not tolerated. That wouldn't have been tolerated. It's still not tolerated in a lot of prisons. You still go to prison for stuff like that, and the guys on the old code, under the old code, will stand on that. That's never gonna be cool. That's never gonna be cool. Now, to those women and those who choose to get into that street lifestyle, that's a different topic. That's a different topic. Because when you choose to do illegal stuff, you're choosing everything that comes with it. That's just what it is. That's one of the main reasons I got out of the streets. But that's the business. That's why it got to the point where it became a no snitch policy in the community, because we handled it ourselves. We would weed out, whether it was the snitches, whether it was, the women, the woman beaters, the child molesters, the child predators, all of that got weeded out. Believe that. Nowadays, I don't know. But number two, the survival mentality. In the streets, talking to them folks could get you hurt or worse. It could. So silence became safety amongst us in the hood, in the community. Number three, cultural reinforcement. We hear it in the music. We see it in the movies. Our peers press us. No, we don't talk to the police. We don't snitch. This and the third. It became a badge of honor to stay quiet, even when it didn't make sense. Even when it didn't make sense. So what started as a street rule became a community rule. It became a hood rule. And that's where we lost control as a people. That's where we lost control. That is where we lost control. But we have to talk about the negative. Once we lost control and once it became a no snitch rule community-wide, we did ourselves in. We did ourselves in, and we started damaging ourselves because, number one, when the whole community feels like it's a no snitch code, then criminals are protected. Criminals are protected. When nobody talks, the people causing harm stay free. Think about this. I knew as a person in the hood committing crimes, I knew that it was my duty to make sure people didn't see me doing crimes. I knew that. The lady across the street who is a civilian who goes to work every day, I wouldn't stand out in front of on the block and sell drugs in front of her. I wouldn't stand out on the block and shoot guns in front of her house, because I know as a civilian, she was protecting her home. She was protecting her investment. She was protecting herself by saying, hey, these guys out here doing some illegal stuff. Can y'all come out here and stop it? But once we, as a community, started, saying no snitching, we started protecting the criminals. We started protecting the criminals. Even the abusers. Hearing somebody being abused, I'm gonna stay out of it. That's not my business. And that started our downfall. But number two, innocent people suffer. Grandmothers, kids, families became victims with no justice. I've seen whole communities where people had to sleep on the floor because they were scared of the gunshots ringing out and scared of being shot in their sleep because it was just so much shooting going on, gunshots ringing out in the hood. That's not cool. That's not cool where our parents, our grandparents, and kids have to live in an environment like that. That's not cool. That is not cool at all. But lawlessness increased. If there are no consequences, the crime continued to grow. It continued to grow and grow and grow. And that's where the point where we at now. It's just lawless in the Black community. It's lawless. Everybody, all the criminals just do what they want to do, and there's no consequences and no repercussions. Number four, community breakdown. We stop trusting each other. Think about it. If you stay next door to me and you won't even tell the police that you saw somebody breaking in my house and ID who it was, that breaks down the trust in the community. That causes us to stop trusting each other. That causes us to stop protecting each other. And what does that do for us as a whole? Look at us now. But we've been protecting the wrong people while the right people suffer. And that's never cool. That's never cool. But let me ask you this. Have you ever seen something happen in your community and nobody said anything? Like, imagine it. Have something ever happened to you in public or in a public place and nobody said anything? I want to know. I want to know. Keep pushing, because that's not talked about enough. You need to be in schools talking to our youth. I'm going, sis. Believe that. I'm going. I know they need to hear it. That's why I'm putting it out now. But answer that. Have you ever had something happen to you or happen in your community and nobody said anything? If you had it happen to you, imagine how you felt when nobody stepped up. Imagine how that felt. Imagine how that felt. But let me say this. And even when I was out there doing dirt, I understood protecting criminals is not loyalty unless you're a criminal. That's the only way. If we riding together, like I said, that's the code, no snitching. But if you're a civilian and you see me murder somebody, especially kids, women, anything like that, and you protect me and you don't tell on me, you just leaving me out there to do it again. You just leaving me out there, and it'll make sense once I harm somebody or once I delete somebody that you care about. And that's usually when we want to talk. As Black people, I've seen it a million times. It's no snitch, no snitch, no snitch. And soon as something happened to your child or something happened to you, then it's, oh, somebody saw something. Somebody need to come forward and so you getting out on the news asking somebody, if you got information, will you come? No, we need to do that anyway. We need to start doing that anyway, because if we don't, we'll continue this path of self-destruction. It'll continue. It will continue. We have to get to the point where we start protecting our neighborhoods and we start protecting our communities. We need a whole new code. We need a whole new code. We need a whole new code. And let me say this. I really spoke on this topic because I've been seeing it a lot in the media. It's been going on a lot with a lot of these rappers. Everybody has been discussing it. Let me say this. You know what I'm saying? Let me say this. If I am a rapper and I run with a gang, or I run with people who ride for me because I've been in this lifestyle, if one of my partners goes and does some dirt and I turn around and put his name in a song talking about him doing dirt or the possibility of him doing dirt, I am a snitch. I am a snitch because I'm putting illegal activities that somebody else has done in a song and putting that out there to the public. We call that like dry snitching. You didn't talk to the police, but if you take it and put it out in public, that person is riding, or that person rode on somebody, or that person will ride on somebody, you basically snitching. And I've seen a few rappers. Everybody's favorite rapper from Baton Rouge, you know what I'm saying? The most recent rapper from Atlanta. I've seen situations where these guys have ended up with major charges because of what they said in the song, because they mentioned somebody's name in the song. The people who are on the pull-up culture, the people who want to pull up and fight and pull up and shoot and everything like that. If you pull up with a camera and you record somebody doing something wrong, fighting, shooting, stealing, whatever it is, you are snitching. That's the worst thing, to record somebody doing dirt. Like, think about it. If back when in my time, if we said, hey, we finna go over here and do something, or we finna go over here, number one, the civilians who hang around that we know were just hanging around because it was cool, we told them to go on about their business. If it was something about that we felt like something was about to go down on the block, because think about it, me being me, if somebody rolled up on the block, busting and shooting, and I'm strapped, if it's civilians on the block, I would hesitate to defend myself because I know they might tell it. They are not under the street code to, hey man, don't say nothing. No, they are civilians. So that's one thing about civilians in my days. Youngsters, hey man, go to school. Get out from up here. Get out from up here on this corner, man. You stay out from up here on this corner. The females that like to come and hang around, hey y'all, it's dangerous up here. You know, like, yeah, that was on you as a street dude to protect yourself. And by default, protect the women and the kids, man. That was mandatory. So what would I look like taking a civilian somewhere with me, you know what I'm saying, and robbing something, and then telling him, hey, if we get caught, you can't say nothing because you'll be snitching. He ain't did nothing. And then I put him in a bad way because I brought him with me. Come on now. So we talking about these dudes, and we talk like a civilian is just that. A civilian is just that. That's law. Catherine, believe me when I say this. You know just like I know. God is my witness. I want you to come on the show and eventually talk about that statement you made. I want you to eventually come on the show and we discuss that, because God is my witness. Like, that would have been one. That would have been one that I would have gladly took care of. But that's a different story for a different time. That's a different story for a different time. I didn't mean to get off track, but Lord knows you should have told me that. But to the people, I have a couple of women in my life who have been messed over, been molested, been, took advantage of. And God knows, I recently found out about it. But all of them told me, I didn't tell you because I knew you would have handled it. That's mandatory. I don't care how street I was, how gangster I was, how nothing. You do not mess with women and kids on my watch. That don't happen. That don't happen. But back to this topic. We need a new code, man. We need a new code. We have to get to a new code where we protect the innocent, protect our children, and protect the future of our community, man. Or it's not going to work. We're going to destroy each other. At the rate that we dying now and they locking us up, our kids, like, population control. We are killing each other and going to prison. And then sending other people to prison because we say, don't snitch. Just ride it out. No, man. We have to get back and get right. There's a difference between being a snitch and being a responsible citizen. And we have to start letting people know the difference. We have to start making people aware of the fact that if you want to protect your community, if you want to protect those around you, if you want to protect yourself, it is okay to call the police, man. It is okay to tell the police what happened so they can get these people off the streets. It is okay. Nobody, we don't have to keep living in danger. We don't have to keep living in a war zone where it's shots popping off every night. And a lot of y'all know, a lot of y'all parents, I swear to God, y'all are responsible. Y'all, especially in our community, y'all are responsible because these dudes running around shooting up each other and shooting up everything and shooting innocent people, hitting innocent people with these stray bullets. Y'all know because these same little suckers are coming back, laying up in y'all house. They hiding these guns in y'all houses. And just like I said, if you allow that as a parent, I hope they lock you up. Really. Really. If you know your child out here, know what I'm saying, on this dumb stuff, and you're okay with it, and you don't stand up, and because my mother wouldn't dare. My mother probably would have turned me in herself if she knows I done shot somebody, I done killed somebody. Like, so I didn't even bring that type of activity around my parents, around my sisters, around my family. Because I didn't want the repercussions that came with it, and I knew my mother would give me up. My mother would give me up. So I knew I couldn't hide guns in the house. I knew I couldn't hide drugs, and I knew that. But you parents nowadays, y'all come from that era. Y'all know y'all my age and a little younger. Y'all come from that era where we hustle. We did this and we did that. But we didn't know what I'm saying. We weren't supposed to push that to our kids. We weren't supposed to know what I'm saying, give that part of the game to our kids. We weren't supposed to give them that. We were supposed to push them to do better. We had to do that. They don't have to. These kids nowadays, they don't have to be out here like that. But they out here like that because of their parents. They parents with their same mindset who not helping them. You know what I'm saying? Look at this rapper, you know what I'm saying, just went and robbed this other rapper in Dallas, man, with his daddy. His daddy there with him. His daddy, think about that. His daddy was there with him. So how do that young man have a chance if his daddy got him on some boo-boo? How do he stand a chance? So as parents, we got to do better. I done said it before. We have to be better, man. If someone is harming your community and you stay silent, you are not neutral. You are allowing it. You are a part of the problem. You are a part. It ain't no way ifs, ands, or buts about it. It ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And just like I said, everybody is not former street dude. Me right now, I'm a swear. I'm a civilian. So think about it. Like I posted earlier, that's that businessman who used to be in the streets, who changed his life over, who allegedly flew to Dallas and got robbed. What was he supposed to do? What was he supposed to do? Because y'all robbing a man on some business. Y'all trying to allegedly pull a gun on the man to make the man sign a contract. That is business. That is business. So if I sign a contract because you got a gun on me, that's not even a legitimate signature. That is void because I signed under duress. And then what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to throw my life away and risk going to prison because you made a crash out move? No, I'm calling the police. I'm telling the police and I'm going to let them handle that. That's not snitching because that man is not in the streets anymore. That man is not doing the dirt anymore. So we got to get our head together. I mean, we pushing the wrong narrative. We are pushing the wrong narrative, and it's continuing we passing that down to our kids, and we see what's happening. We see what's happening. But silence is not always loyalty. Sometimes it's complicity, man. You are part of the problem. If I watch somebody break in my neighbor's house right now and I don't do anything, or I don't call the police and I don't do anything, and then when my neighbor come, I say, oh, well, I don't know, you know, this and that there. I don't like, no, that's not keeping it real. That's being a part of the problem. That is being a part of the problem. We got to do better, people. We got to do better, people. We got to do better. But how do we do better? How do we do better? What do we do about it? First of all, we have to change the conversation at home. Teach our kids the difference between street rules and real life. None of my kids are in the streets unless they're doing it without my knowledge. So I would tell them in a heartbeat, if it's a situation where you can't handle it yourself or you don't want to risk getting yourself in trouble, call 911. Call 911. I tell them, my kids will tell you, you can't come to my house with no drama. You can't come to my house if you want it. You can't come to my house with none of that, because if they knock on my door looking for you, the police knock on I'm giving you up. I'm giving you up. I don't play. I don't play like that. We done already had that discussion. Don't come around me if you're doing nothing illegal, because I don't want the negativity to come back with the illegal activities. I know how it works. I know how it works. I've talked to my kids. I've talked to my nephew. I've talked to everybody and told them, do away with that or you can miss me. You can miss me because it's not happening. But stop glorifying that code, man. Stop it's over with. It's over with. It's over with. The street should be over with by now. But stop praising silence when it leads to harm, man. Stop praising silence when it leads to harm. Next, build community accountability. We protect our neighborhoods, man. We protect the people in our neighborhoods. We have to. We have to, because a lot of times by the time the police get there, we know it's over. We know it's over, man. Look, if nothing else, just like I said, if you continue as men and we continue to want to crash out, if we as women continue to want to crash out, I'm not telling you, you know what I'm saying, to try to jump out there and rescue no crash out. I'm not telling you to jump out there, you know what I'm saying, and try to rescue people who have already made the choice to do what they want to do. Because I'm not jumping out there to rescue now one of mine. I got too many kids to risk my life and jump out there and crash out behind one. I have a purpose in life. I have too much to do for my people in life to jump out there and crash out behind one person. So I'm calling 911, and I have no problem with it. And I would gladly step up and say I did it. I would go to court. I would take the stand. I would point you out. I would do anything I need to do to protect my community and protect the people in it. It's just what it is. Next, we need to redefine the word loyalty. Loyalty is protecting your people, not protecting wrongdoing. Not protecting wrongdoing. And if you really care about your people nowadays, just like I said earlier about my kids, I'm telling them, man, don't do that. You don't need to be doing that. You don't need to be in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Why would you be in the streets? Why would you be selling this? Why would you be doing this? I'm never going to be cool with it. I'm never going to be cool with it because I know what comes with it. So the parents that are okay with your son, you know, slanging weed because he give you free weed, you the problem. You the problem. You know what I'm saying? To the people who okay with their sons robbing and everything because they giving them money, like you the problem. You are the problem. And they should lock you up before your child because you the worst problem. But this week, I want you to think about this question. Who are we really protecting? Who are we really supposed to be protecting? Who? Because as men, we're protectors. As mothers, y'all are protectors. Y'all are lovers, nurturers, and protectors. As men, we are the biggest protectors. So who are we protecting? Who are we supposed to be protecting? Let's keep it real. We got to get back to it. We have to get back to that ASAP. But like I said, I had to speak on this because it's destroying us. It's destroying us. And just like I said, we're feeding people the wrong information. We're feeding people the wrong information. And that's the one thing I like to do with this show. Like I said, everybody might not agree with my views and opinions, but they are mine. And I've gained these views and opinions through living life in the trenches, you know, standing for something. I started as a soldier, worked my way up, you know what I'm saying, to a boss. And I stand on what's real. I'm always going to stand on what's real. And most of the stuff that I stand on is not stuff that I just figured out on my own. A lot of this stuff was given to me by the originals. A lot of this street stuff was given to me by the OGs, by the original gangsters. And just like I said, that was never tolerated. It was never tolerated. It was never abusing women or putting women and kids in the street stuff or into violence. Like, no. Send them kids home. Don't let them kids hang around. Send them youngsters home. Them little dudes that go to school and that got a chance of being something, don't let them stand beside you on the block or in the trap and throw their life away. Because they have to not snitch. You know what I'm saying? Them little girls that like to hang around, you know what I'm saying? Them little women like to hang around, like send them home, man. Keep it real. Keep it real. If you got a girlfriend and she leave her at home and she not supposed to be around that lifestyle. Because I'm going to tell you this. When you take your BM or you take your girlfriend and you take her and she see you do some illegal stuff and they come and grab her and tell her they're going to take her child, you know what I'm saying? Because she won't tell it. Then what? Then what? Is she supposed to lose with a child so she can keep it real with somebody who didn't give a care about her having her out there in that type of environment? No, she's supposed to tell it. She's supposed to do what's best for her and her child. So you as a street dude or you that's doing the illegal activities, you have to protect yourself and you also have to protect those around you. That's your duty. If you don't know what I'm saying, take that, then you're not a real street dude. I said it. I meant it. I represent it. If you okay with women and kids being involved and women and kids getting caught up and getting hit by stray bullets or taking charges for dudes because that's their boyfriend or whatever, and they was in the car, hey, take this charge because you ain't gonna go to jail. No, I'm gonna go to prison. They just gonna give you probate. Like, that's not street, my guy. That's not street. That's cowardice. That's cowardice, man. Just like I said, we do our dirt, we do our time. That's just how it is. That's how we did it. We ain't trying to, know what I'm saying, lock everybody into don't tell it in this. When we sit up there and did something in front of everybody, that's not how they work. That's not how they work. So, number one, we need to do away with the streets. But number two, if you still choose to be out there, man, it's a way to do it. It's a real way to do it. And I don't promote the streets at all because I'm so far removed. Like, I wouldn't even know what the streets look like no more. But if that's what you choose to do, man, it comes with responsibility, man. You just don't get to make the rules and do it how you want to do it. It comes with responsibility. And I'm like, we need to learn it, or we need to get out the streets because that shit is dead. It's dead. Go get you a job. Start you a business. Do something different. That's not what it is no more. But, my people, if we want better communities, we have to make better decisions. It is what it is. It don't work without it. It don't work without it. We have to make better decisions. We can't build safe neighborhoods while protecting dangerous behavior or dangerous people. We can't do that. It don't work like that. It don't work like that. But if this message hit you, if you felt this message, share this video, tag somebody who needs to hear it. Subscribe to the YouTube channel at I Am Toby O'Neal. Follow me on Facebook at I Am Toby O'Neal. And we're going to get it right. We're going to keep doing this hopefully every week, God willing. We're going to keep doing it till we get it right. We're going to keep doing it till we get it right. But this is bigger than a live stream. This is about changing the trajectory of our people. And it starts with us. It starts with a conversation. Like I said, I'm Mr. O'Neal, and this has been the P-Ave Perspective. Hopefully, God willing, I'll see you all again next week with another topic. But until then, take care, stay focused, and keep pushing. Peace.